Hey War Gamers, welcome back. Purple Druid presents turn 3 of Chainmail Play by Post. And things are about to get exciting. We're gonna do this green first, and then we'll do the yellow. The yellow have turned in a very advanced and detailed set of orders. So what will probably happen, I may need to hit pause a couple times and take a look at their orders because it was just too much to write down. So I moved my laptop over here closer to the board so that we could so we can do this. Okay, so in any case, remember this is north. So the northwestern, for green, the northwestern group of heavy horse are going to stand still. That's this group here. And because they're going to stand still, they will lose their fatigue markers. Second, the eastern heavy horse here are going to charge. And I'm going to assume, I know assuming is terrible, right? We'll get to that in just a second. Skirmishers are going to stand still. So 1, 2, 3, they're all going to stand still. They'll lose their fatigue markers as well. I'm just going to put these over here because we're going to need those in just a little bit. The western archers over here, they are going to make a quarter turn to the east. So that means they're facing that way. The eastern archers over here, they are going to make a quarter turn to the west. Interesting. The heavy foot, the heavy infantry back here, they are going to stay put. The armored foot right here are going to make a quarter turn to the east and then advance. So armored foot have a move of 6. A left face will cost 1/4 of their move. And so they're going to move 4.5 inches. Which will put them right there. So those are the green moves. I'm just going to tidy this up a little bit. And now we're going to do yellow. I am going to pause for just a second and square up these orders. Okay, so for the yellow force, the armored foot at the far eastern end of the line are going to advance 2 inches along their current line of march, pivot to face directly north, and continue forward as far as possible. So that's going to be 2 inches to there, and then they're going to lose, I'm going to like this here, and then we'll move them 1 more inch there. Okay, so that's the armored foot. The western 4 blocks of skirmishers, these here, are going to face northeast and march ahead as far as possible up to 9 inches. So they're going to wheel and move 9 inches. So that's going to be like so. And then we're going to add fatigue markers to these, and that'll give each of them 4 fatigue markers. Okay, so they have 4 fatigue markers. The light infantry here are going to stay put, so they're going to remove a fatigue marker, and then they will fire if pass-through is available, and also on the missile phase. So these guys are not moving. So we will measure. Yeah, so they should be able to theoretically shoot twice if they have the range, which is 24. And so let's do it this way. All right, so that's 24. They do not have the range on those cavalry. All right. Skirmishers on the flanks of the heavy foot are going to turn north and advance 9 inches. If necessary, pause to give way to any friendly cavalry passing to their front. Okay, so let's move the cavalry first then. Medium horse will advance wheeling to the northwest and advance at the charge if possible to make contact with the western block of enemy horse. All right, well, I'm going to measure that real quick. Hang on. Okay, so the medium horse can move 18, charge 24. And they can make up to a 45-degree turn in so making a charge. So 45 degrees would be like so. And if we extend that line, they are not in that arc, so they will not be able to do a charge. However, they can move. And so what's going to happen is they're going to wheel, and they can move up to 18. They're going to lose a couple. So they're going to charge up that way. I'm going to hit pause so I can pull them out from under there. Okay, so this is where the outside edge is, and he's going to be able to move 18, which will put him right there. So we're going to slide this in right here. And so that is where that group will be, and these skirmishers are facing that way, so they don't have any pass-through. These are out of range, these are out of range, and they are facing that way, so they don't have any pass-through either. So there will be no pass-through fire there. Now, the heavy horse are going to advance straight ahead in a charge into the western flank of the enemy heavy horse here. They will wheel if necessary to do this. If the enemy heavy horse turns to face them, they will charge or advance directly into the front of the enemy. Okay, so let's parse this out. This unit here has orders to charge this unit here. This unit has orders to charge this unit. This unit of heavy horse has a movement of 12 and a charge of 18. So that means if they can reach this unit, it's more than half of their movement distance, so they'll move halfway, and this group will get pass-through fire on them. And then I'll move this one halfway, which is also heavy horse. So both of these are going to move 9. They'll take a shot, and then we'll try to complete their moves if we can. So what's going to happen, however, because their charge is only 18, if they don't have the range, if they're not close enough to do the charge, then they're only going to move 12. So they will move then 6 each. This one will move 6 and they'll get their pass-through fire. So the way I do this is I measure from the center of this unit to the center of this unit to see if they can strike. I have always done it that way. I've done it that way with Warhammer, etc., etc. Because if this guy and this guy are touching and this is at an angle, especially if it's real close, if there's enough range left, then they can, crash in. But otherwise, it's going to be a failed charge. So to measure, we have 19 inches between those two. So we're going to move them 6. We're going to move them 6. They're going to take their pass-through fire. So that is 6. And this is 6. Now, pass-through fire. These are heavy crossbows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 will get to fire. You can only fire in 2 ranks if the second rank is archers. So because they're crossbows, they cannot. And so, let's get some dice. Okay, so let's get some dice. And I also want to correct a statement I just made. The second rank here can fire if they're missile troops, not if they're archers. And by missile troops, that means crossbowmen, archers, and longbowmen, or composite bowmen. That does not mean throwing axes or throwing spears or javelins. So, group of 12. On a 1 to 4, they'll cause 1 casualty. On a 5 to 6, they'll cause 2. And because they're heavy crossbows, they get a +1 to the die roll. And that's a 6. So that will be 2 more casualties to this unit here. And I'm going to go ahead and put their fatigue marker down. These have 2 fatigue markers. And these have 2 fatigue markers. These have none because they did not move. So those will go away. All right, so this was a unit of 18, has lost 4. That is less than 25%, so there will not be, I don't think we have a check for excess casualties. Correct. Heavy horse, they actually have to lose 50%. So they'll need to lose 9 before they have to, or I'm sorry, they'll have to lose 10 before they have to make a check. And now, the other thing that comes into play here is they were going to charge this unit. And so they already moved 6. And to move 6 more will definitely bring them into contact. In addition, they wanted to try to charge the flank. But these guys weren't able to turn enough. And they got 6 inches closer. All right, let me just double check this here. 6, that would have been Was that within? Yeah, they were within charge range. So I kind of messed that up. Okay, so I'm going to move these guys 3 closer for the halfway point. And then we'll go ahead and all right, this is what we're going to do. This unit here, 45 degrees is like so. So more than half, oops, more than half of this unit is in the front arc. And all right, well, let's do this. We're going to roll a die. On a 1 to 3, we're going to do the aggressive thing. And this unit will be able to wheel up to 45 degrees and crash into the side of this one. On a 4, 5, or 6, they will try to wheel, but they'll wind up crashing into the front instead of the side. So let's see what happens. That's a 3. Okay. So they will be able to move forward enough. Actually, they can, and they can hit that and so then they'll crash, and I'm going to turn them like so. Okay. They already have their fatigue marker. They have their fatigue marker. All right, let's check the rest of our movement here. These skirmishers are supposed to advance 9 inches. Fatigue markers. Four and 4 and 4. Okay. What's next here? Medium horse, heavy crossbows. Take their shot at the enemy. They will continue to reload and fire at this block of enemy until further notice, taking either pass through or missile segment fire, whichever provides the closest range. Okay, this heavy foot is going to move forwards 9 inches. And they also get another fatigue marker. Okay, so I believe that is going to be the end of the movement phase. All right, so now we've reached the missile fire part of the turn, and the red skirmishers are armed with composite bows, so they can shoot 24. So this is 24 inches, and basically all except, I think, this last one. All except for these two. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 are in range and can take a shot. Now, however, they've all moved. They have all moved their full distance. So there has to be a roll off. So we're going to roll these 2 dice. The green die is for the horsemen. If the skirmishers roll higher, they get to shoot. If they don't, they don't. So we're going to just start here and make our way around. All right, so that is 1. And let's mark those with something. Hold on, I need something to mark those with. All right, so the ones that can shoot, I'm going to mark with a little white cube. So here we go again. 1 to 2. And 5 to 4, this guy cannot. This one. 5 to 3, this one cannot. He cannot. He cannot. This one. No. This one. No. And this one. No. Okay, so 8 will be able to shoot. Let's check our chart. For shooting versus fully armored, they can get 1 casualty on a 5 or a 6. No. No casualties. So they've taken their shot. Now we're going to do melee. And for melee, we're going to do, as I said, the experiment where this melee, if it does not resolve, we will do it up to 3 times in this turn. If it's not resolved within 3 melee rounds, then we're going to call the end of the turn and start over, and they will remain locked in combat. And we're going to go from there. So let's go ahead and see what there is to see. Okay, so we have heavy horse versus heavy horse. So that will be 1 die per man, and a 6 will be a kill. For the gray cavalry, they have 1 here and a hero here. He counts as 4. So that will be 5. So they will get 5 dice. The white unit here, they only have 2. They're facing that way. They're facing this way. They're being attacked on the flank. So these normally would count as 1 class better. But since there is no class better, they're going to get a +1 to their die roll. All right, so the blue dice will be for the gray. The green dice will be for the white. And gray gets a +1 on the blue dice. So that will be a 5 and a 6 here. So that will be 2 casualties that they'll cause. The green got a 1 and a 2, so they will not cause a casualty at all. So these are going to come off. And now we're going to calculate the morale, and I'm not going to do that with the camera running, so stand by. Okay, so we got this math done. The gray unit have 18 left. The white unit have 12 left. The white unit is fatigued. So gray had 0 casualties, white had 2. So gray had fewer casualties. 2 times a die roll of 2, +1 for the hero is 3, so they get a +6. Gray has more surviving troops. They get a +6. So 18 times 9 is 162 versus a score here of 12 times 8, which is 96. Because they're at -1 for being fatigued. 96 The difference, 162 minus 96 is going to be 66 points, plus 66 for the gray. And if we look at our combat results chart, 66 is actually going to be doubled because melees involving less than 20 figures per side double all totals. So that's going to be then 132. And so that is going to be a massive, massive loss for the whites. It's over 100, which means that they will surrender. To the heavy cavalry. All right, so this heavy cavalry unit has surrendered. They are going to take an additional fatigue for the melee. This unit has won. They're going to take an additional fatigue for the melee. This little marker here with a skull is going to indicate that they have surrendered. Now, in order for the gray heavy cavalry to continue, they will need to leave someone behind. There's a ratio for that to keep those guys under guard and perhaps lead them back this way off the table. And that is it for melee. And the melee is, of course, resolved. So that's going to be the end of turn 3. All right. Thanks for watching, and good luck with turn 4, gentlemen.